One of my favorite ways of prospecting, whether in wet country or in dry country, is by cracking open rocks. The reason being that it doesn't matter whether the area has been worked to death, because if anything ever got down into a crack in a rock, no one else has ever pulled it out before, or the rock would have been cracked open. So it's guaranteed that this territory has never been worked before, and that means that if there was gold there, it'll still be there. Now on this spot here, there's a crack in this granite rock. Now we're going to try to pry this open, crack it apart, and very carefully collect all the stuff that we see in here, put it in a pan and pan it out. It'll probably take 2 or 3 rocks to get enough to actually do a serious pan worth. Now I see a lot of people on YouTube and in real life going out and cracking open every rock they see, and that's just a waste of time. Every crack, someplace up the mountain, there's no real chance it has gold in it. Theoretically it might, but finding gold is a probabilities game. It's much more likely to be in the middle of the river, crossways with the current, so that gold would have run over here, gotten shoved into this rock, and never left, as opposed to being someplace up on the hill where there's no real probability gold ever rolled across it. So, gold should have rolled across here if it ever was here. And so we're going to take this here. You do want to wear glasses for this, because these rocks like to explode and crack on you. Take my small bar. You can get these at Harbor Freight. The whole set for about $10, and a lifetime guaranteed. There you go. Now before we make too much of a mess, we very gently want to pull this apart, trying not to lose any of the dirt that's in the crack, and roll it up like this. Obviously this doesn't work so well on the huge rocks because they're a lot heavier. Now that we have it like that, I go through and look around, see if there's anything I can actually see. You'd be surprised how many times I actually see little pieces of gold sticking out here. Nothing on this one. But this is where our wire brush comes in, and we use our wire brush to scoop right up into the scoop. It can be difficult to aim into some place and make sure you actually have the gold not getting lost, but with a little bit of practice you should get it. Sometimes you can do the whole thing over a pan, or if you have plenty of water you can crack this open and do it in a tub, and we'll wash it off by hand. But out here, the wire brush is your best tool. And this may seem like a lot of work compared to the amount of dirt you recover, but it's actually, compared to the amount of gold you recover, it's actually less work than most other types of prospecting here. And, it's not very hard work to sit here and do this, or go crack a rock open and look inside of it. It doesn't take much. It looks like you're not getting much until you actually start to pan it and see how much gold you can find. I've actually gotten more gold this way in this area than I have any other way so far. So see, all that rock produced was about a tablespoonful of dirt. Put that in there. We're going to do that to 2 or 3 more, and then we'll see what we have. So this rock has a crack in it that's nice, and its shape is good. The thing is, it slipped a little bit, which means it actually cracked before we got here, and this rock has actually slipped some, which means gold that was stuck in here might have gotten out. So, fortunately, I think it's going to be pretty easy to break it open. Big bar here, and just pry it up. And then we can evaluate what we've got here. Yeah, there's quite a bit of black sand in that. I'm going to go ahead and run that off too. So this is a beautiful crack and a good position in the creek. Unfortunately, it looks like the rock is so large it's going to be a lot of difficulty for us to get it apart. So if it doesn't come apart easily, I'm just going to give up on it. Like anything else, the key is moving a lot of dirt in a day and getting a lot of stuff processed, and spending too much time in one place. Like, I could, of course, dig this whole thing out, but not likely to pay me enough to justify that. No, it's too well put together. Just keep moving. So this is actually an ideal rock because it's on the inside corner of the river. The cracks point that way so that the dirt comes up and goes in. And you look at this crack right here, you'll see that this nice wide crack, so that things that came up with it got shoved in there. Gold would have been the hardest thing for it to ever get washed out, so there's a good chance it's still down here. And this very same rock has another spot right here, and you can see how this has a nice crack up underneath it, so this whole piece is going to pop off. What's more, I'm seeing a lot of black sand on the base here that got dropped, so that may tell me this is a slow zone of the river where gold and black sand and other heavy stuff gets sucked. So I'm very encouraged by this. Let's see what happens. Pops right off. Crack it open. So this is where the broom and dustpan come in handy. if it's loose enough, unfortunately this isn't, I'm going to have to use the wire brush and the dustpan in tandem, because this is the flat edge of the rock, so the dustpan actually works better than a scoop. And make sure you get all the little cracks in here, every place that gold would have gotten in and wouldn't come out. Spot up here. And come down here and keep all the stuff that you got loose up into your pan. Most of the time gold tends to get stuck in the top of the crevice, up around here or so, the top inch or so. And there are exceptions, like where it can get down to the bottom very easily, but most of the time I've actually caught it, pulling it off and seeing it. It's been right up in the top layer. So I'm going to do the same for this one. I'm going to pop off that one. I think we'll get this one right next door here, if I can get it off quickly. Yeah, it's coming. So I'm going to pull this one off too. We'll clean up all of these, and then we'll pan it out to see if we've got any gold in all of this. So all of the dirt I got from, I think, 4 big cracks I pulled out is right here. So barely a cup. But we'll see what kind of gold we have in it. Before we just get it wet, make sure it's actually all wet down there. I didn't bother to screen this because there were so few large rocks. It'd be easy enough to pick out. Down the black sand. Slow enough, now settle it. There. There's a couple little specks. Nothing worth showing on camera. Kind of like with fishing shows, they never actually catch fish on camera, they just tell you about all the fish they catch off camera. Gold is kind of like that. I catch all kind of gold off camera, but when I'm actually trying to catch it, when I'm actually filming, nothing ever seems to show up. But trust me, there's a lot of gold in rocks like this. Honest. Just not this one.